time for another Coffee with Kilroy. And when I started doing these, I started doing Coffee with Kilroy's covering inserts, Avalon Hill Game Company inserts. And as luck would have it, I picked up Stonewall's Last Battle, very good condition, unpunched, at Half Price Books recently. And in it was an Avalon Hill Game Company catalog from 1996. So, grab your coffee or whatever you desire and join me as I page through this Avalon Hill Game Company 1996 catalog. Now, this is different than the other ones that I've covered. You can go look at my inserts or Coffee with Kilroy, some of the earlier ones. You can see which ones I've covered. They've varied anywhere from like just a black and white to full color, and this one is kind of a combination in some respects. And there's Stonewall in the Valley, which I have, and Acquire. I don't have that version, but I have Acquire. Some interesting games here on this cover here. Here's Solitaire ASL. Look at that. And Geronimo. I've seen that. Don't have that. And so you get a full color here, at least at the very beginning. I was talking about Dear Gamer. And as I've talked about before, Avalon Hill is predominantly a war game, but they branched out into all kinds of games and actually, were more of a hobby gamer than other war game publishers, and kind of predated the Euro game craze, with Catan and the like. They were in this space before then. Leisure time and family games. Here we go. And then you have Rail Baron. I have that one. That's I believe that's an 18XX type game. I haven't played that one yet. Outdoor Survival, Feudal, have that. So you get an example of some of their family and leisure games, like Assassin was family and leisure. Stellar Conquest. There's actually a copy of that at my friendly local gaming store. Then you get into the sports, statisticals, and replay games. I played a lot of the Status Pro. Played Status Pro basketball. Big fan of Win, Place, and Show, which is actually a kind of a good party or charity type game. Title Bout, very, very big fan of that. And they have a magazine called All Star Replay, and I used to get that to get horses for Win, Place, and Show, and boxers for Title Bout, and plus additional rules for Title Bout. That was really good. And played some Status Pro baseball as well. And their football. I played their Status Pro football. I was more of a Stratomatic baseball person, but I played a little bit of their Avalon Hill games. I think it's in their role-playing. They got into that a little bit. See, RuneQuest. Here's some more role-playing type stuff. Magic Realms is was a board role-playing game back then, a fantasy board game, and was very kind of complicated to get into. Much better offerings today and much more streamlined in the Euro dungeon crawl space. James Bond, that was a Victory Games, very big one for them, role-playing game. Well done. I actually played that one. Here's some of the classics. Naval War, which is a card game. Africa Corps, Firepower, have that. Victory in the Pacific, played that. Looking for a good copy of that, or a decent copy of that. I have War at Sea, but would like to have Victory in the Pacific. That was one of the earlier games I played. We the People, which was the precursor for the card-driven game system for war games. It now is Washington's War. It's had iterations to turn it into Washington's War, but there's a whole line of war games that are, card-driven. And I think We the People might have been, if not the first, one of the first, and was kind of the inspiration for that genre. Hitler's War, Patent Best, which is a solo tank game. B-17, the classic solitaire game, what I call a charty war game. Then you have some of their Smithsonian Institute, which are kind of republications or reprints of some of their classic games. I have this Midway one, but you have Guadalcanal, Gettysburg, and there's been several iterations of Gettysburg over the years. Great campaigns of the American Civil War. Well, how appropriate, because Stonewall Jackson's Way, Stonewall in the Valley, Here Come the Rebels, Roads to Gettysburg. Coming soon, Stonewall's Last Battle. We have that coming soon. This catalog was in this box here. I can't get it all in there because I'm trying to get it close so you can see get a close-up of the catalog here. But this is a great Campaigns of the American Civil War series, which I believe has been taken up by Multi-Man Publishing now, and they've been redoing these and bringing them up to date in some respects. I don't think they've changed the rules dramatically, but I'm not an expert on that. But I have 3 in this. I have Stonewall in the Valley and Stonewall's Last Battle, and then the Lee Goes North, which is, I think, kind of a combination of Roads to Gettysburg and Here Come the Rebels, or maybe not Here Come the... It's a combination of some of the Roads to Gettysburg scenarios that were in there, I believe. Strategic and tactical games. Here we go. War and Peace, classic. Have that. Great for the scenarios. A little weak on the actual campaign system. Siege of Jerusalem. I think somebody's reprinting this. I don't know if that's Compass. Compass has a tendency to grab some older games and then reprint them, but not modify them or update. Mainly just updating them with like better counters and stuff, but not redoing the rules. I know they do that on some, and then others like NATO. Of course, they the designer Bruce Maxfield, I believe it is, redid it, brought it kind of up to speed, and kind of put a lot of effort into that. So I think they're doing Siege of Jerusalem. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. Also, I know Multi-Man Publishing is doing an Area Impulse game on this same topic, I believe. Wooden Ships and Iron Men, still holds up today. People swear by this, that this is probably one of the best Age of Sail type games out there. Air Force and Dauntless, I have the Avalon Hill version. I know Stigler thinks the Battleline version is much superior, and they kind of messed it up with these. But I have the Air Force and Dauntless, both those from that. Now we're getting into some black and white type stuff. This is the Avalon Hills games part list. Actually gray and black. Kind of interesting here. So you get your part list. Then you get your order sheet. These are customary. This is how you ordered. You sent it by snail mail. You put this in the mail and made your order based off this catalog. Avalon Con, the National Board Gaming Championship, 1996 in Baltimore. Look at that. Now we're getting back into some color again. Here's Russian Front, MBT, IDF, Squad Leader. It's interesting. I wonder if they're going to get into Advanced Squad Leader in here somewhere. Here's Panzer Blitz, the first game I played, war game I played, if you don't count Risk, and then Panzer Leader, the first game I bought. Here's Third Reich, first strategic game I played. Flat Top, have that. Longest Days, probably the only monster, if you consider this a monster game, which I do, the only one I've really played. I played the Follies Gap or Follies Pocket scenario, and then also played, we set up for the big long day campaign game, and only got a few turns into it, and it was up on his ping pong table in his garage for a few months, and he had to end up tearing it down. Anzio, Diplomacy. Now Avalon Hill wasn't the original publisher of that, but very, very classic game. Their History of the World series, which is an interesting series, and there's a lot in this series now. There's History of the World, and then it's also kind of the Britannia was one of the classics in that series, where basically it's iterations of different cultures or civilizations or empires coming and going, and you're kind of seeing the flow and taking over a line of them and bringing them on the board and deciding when they need to kind of wane, and you bring in the next one. So interesting line of games there. Not as interesting from a historic standpoint, interesting from a gameplay standpoint, not very accurate from a simulation standpoint. I mean, it's somewhat anachronistic when some of those civilizations come and go. And speaking of civilization, there's the granddaddy, Civilization and Advanced Civilization. Maharaj is one of those games I mentioned, which is kind of the Britannia type feel. Very, very good game, Civilization. I should do a whole thing on that. Actually, I don't have Railburn. I have 1830, which is an 18xx game. I've got, which is a whole kind of train series, economic train series. I do have 1830 and Empire in Arms. That was kind of one of my grill games for a while. Then there's Britannia. Look at there. We're all on it. And here's the ultimate in realism, Advanced Squad Leader. I'm not going to get into that debate, but here's all some of your ASL stuff as of 1996. And Victory Games, Civil War, have that. Actually have on in the mail, hopefully, is the U.S. Civil War, which is kind of a combination of the Civil War and For the People, which is a derivation of or derivative of the Washington's War and the card-driven system, and it kind of brings some of the best of both worlds into it. Pacific War, 1996, that was just re-released. Mark Herman redid that, and again, that was one of those ones he did that for GMT. I don't know if I don't think that was a complete redo. I think it was more of a updating and polishing than a complete overhaul of that system. But I've seen some of the videos. It looks amazing. Ambush, one of the original solitaire, in-depth solitaire systems, which kind of took the paragraph system of like choose your own adventure and put it into this kind of a pull card. It looked like one of those old computer punch cards, which would tell you the paragraph. You would make your decision, tell you the paragraph, and then you go look it up. But a lot of replayability and really kind of a novel system, but very complicated to put that together. So probably will not see that coming out again anytime soon. And then computer games, which were always a constant from pretty much from the 80s forward for Avalon Hill. And these are all computer games. And then Avalon Con. So there you have it. That is the 1996 Avalon Hill Game Company catalog. And this is good timing, too, to bring this up. I'm going to have another sip here. Feel free to drink to your heart's content as I go over this. Good timing because the Charles S. Roberts Ward, who was Charles S. Roberts was the founder of Avalon Hill and arguably the founder of the board gaming industry or hobby, especially as we know it today. The Charles S. Roberts Awards in his name are live right now. So please get out I'll put a link to the ballot, and I've done a little video on that. But get online. It's a user or voter or community-driven nomination process. So you need to get out there, look at the categories, which there's still several categories, but they have been reduced from previous years. But you need to get out, look at the categories, and put your nominations in there. And then that's the first round. And then the second round will be taking those nominations and then putting it out there for a vote. Again, a vote of the people. This is a public, it's been, at least since it's come back into the forefront. I think it went on a hiatus in like 2013. And then came back in 2019. And since it's been back, it's been generally a public nomination system and a public vote system. So you really need all your input. If you played them, great. If you know something about them, please put your comments in there. Put up your nominations. It really needs your support and your input. And this is your chance to say what you think about these games. At least games from the 2021 year, and there'll be, a vetting process on that, and but feel free to put your nominations in there. So that's live now, and that goes to June 30th, I believe, is the last time to get the first round of nominations in. So please do that. I'll leave the link down below, and thanks for spending some time with me as I page through a little bit of history, a little bit of nostalgia here. What's your Other than the Charles S. Roberts Awards, please get your nominations in, but love to know what your thoughts are on this catalog or any of these games. Love to hear it. Thank you so much for spending some time. Enjoy the rest of your cup of coffee or juice or Java or whatever you're drinking, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Thanks for watching.